Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Class vs. Crass Gaming Podcast, first one of 2020 and the 176th numbered episode. I say numbered because who knows how many we didn't actually count. I'm your host, Hey Jay. Joining me, as always, we got RGT85 with the Sprite, I believe.
Yeah, it was a Sprite.
Wow. Oh, it's because you got the green screen. If I was like, why is Sprite black in US?
No, it's a special Sprite.
Is it it's like Sprite black?
No, it's a regular Sprite.
Okay. And also joining us as of last month, Bearded Bargus. Bearded
Yay.
Bargus.
What's up?
How are you?
Doing all right.
Happy New Year's to all of you. It's good to see you all.
Happy Festivus.
Cheers. What you eating there, sir?
Stella, huh?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a burrito wrap with roast beef in it.
Are these your like microwave burritos that you buy frozen and you just go to town with?
No, this is literally just a wrap with roast beef in it.
Oh, okay. See, you're leveling up your podcast game. Green screen,
Yeah, a little
got
bit.
your mic, a little pop filter.
A little bit.
A little bit. Mr. Hollywood over here.
I want a hot filter.
You can have mine. It's been in storage forever. I hate it. I don't even
There's like this $15 one on Amazon that I was going to pick up.
Yeah. Well, if it is your first time joining us, it is a 1-hour podcast dedicated to the latest in gaming. So we're going to be talking tonight about the big news of the week. Of course, we're talking about Byleth joining Smash Brothers and all of the other Smash news. We're going to be talking about the state of E3 2020 because let's face it, it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. And then we're going to be talking about game delays because that seems to be the tone so far in these early weeks of 2020. And before we get into all those headlines, though, we're going to be talking about what we've been playing over the holiday break over the last few months. And I think if Greg wants to, he has an anecdotal story to share with us tonight.
Oh, yeah. So I finally beat The Evil Within 2 after going back to it and progressing it, short periods at a time. And then I actually I did another playthrough of River City Girls. But I don't think my opinion has changed on that game after even just scoring it itself. But I mean, it's a very solid, good game. But yeah. Then did you want me to talk about limited run games?
Let's do it after we do what we've been playing.
Okay.
So that's what you've been playing.
That's it. Yeah, pretty much. Been slow.
Oh man. How about you, Sean?
A lot of random stuff. Stuff like Skyrim. I played some Skyrim this week, which I haven't played in forever.
Played on your toaster?
I played it on the Switch. What else? Forza Horizon 4. Been playing that some. Just a lot of random stuff, honestly. Nothing like new or exciting or anything like that.
Well, there hasn't really been it. You're not into Kakarot, I guess.
No, I don't do Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It sucks because I've heard nothing but bad stuff about it.
I'm not surprised.
I heard it's not great.
Well, if they would have built it out into, the RPG that they promised it to be at E3, then I would have probably would have purchased it. But after hearing everybody and playing a sliver of it, I don't know. It just seems disappointing because where they wanted to take it and where it landed seems like two different routes.
I approve of your background, sir. Keep on playing indie.
Really? I was hoping you didn't like it.
No, that's actually me exactly a year ago. That's the rough that's the rough voice indie corner host. I miss doing that. I've been dabbling in some random stuff too. I got back into Hyrule Warriors. So I finished Persona 5 on January 1st. And that's not the end of it. I decided to do Persona 5 New Game Plus, so I just decided to restart it. So I'm at level 10. Here we go again. Because to get the Platinum Trophy, you have to do New Game Plus because there is a optional boss that is only playable once you do New Game Plus. And you have to get all the way to like level... Okay, that one, I don't like that one. Level 60 or 70 before you can play them. Is that when we did our interview with Armillo?
Yes.
That's really early Nintendo enthusiast days.
You look like you want to sell me flooring or a home alarm system, and you shut up my door.
It looks like I have saran wrap over my face,
Over your manhood.
over everything. What else have I been playing? Yeah, Hyrule Warriors has been the big one. So I was hooked on that when it came out on the Wii U. Then I got hooked again when it came out on the Switch. Have you guys played? I know, Sean, you played a bit of Hyrule Warriors, but Greg, ever got into that?
Yeah, I think I did the review for the Wii U when it came out, but I really liked it.
I like it. The level of reward to grind is like it's perfect. So in the game, after you beat the campaign, you get the Master Sword, and it's the strongest weapon for a while. But then once you start doing the maps, which are ridiculously long to do, you can eventually, there's a seal on the Master Sword, two seals, and you have to collect every character's weapon from level 1 to 3 to unlock the first seal, which strengthens the Master Sword. And then if you get the level 4 weapons for all the characters, you unlock the second seal, and that strengthens it to be the most OP weapon in the game. So I'm still grinding to get the first seal removed, and I'm like probably 100 hours in. So it's kind of crazy, but it's really fun. Also started my Hollow Knight Platinum run, which is now streaming weekly on HeyJ. So try to get back into Death Stranding. I can't do it. I deliver one packet. Like, I deliver max 2 packages. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I got the robot legs. Do you guys still play? Did you ever get into that, Sean, or were you like, nope?
I played like 15 hours of it.
Really? I'm surprised.
I thought you were going to say 15 minutes.
No, I gave it an honest chance, and like, it was okay, but it's not great. And I don't want to hear you got to keep playing it for the game to get better. Fuck off. Like, if I play something for 15 hours and I'm not having a good time, I'll move on to something.
I think 15 hours is more than generous to be like, I'm trying this out.
Yeah.
Did you make it past the first big boss?
Yes.
Okay, so you've gotten the skeletal legs, I assume?
Yes.
So that's pretty game changing, but it's still meh. I kind of regret spending full price for that game, but we'll see what happens. All right. Let's hear a story, Greg. What happened? Oh, where's he going? Do you know what this is going to be about, Sean?
No, I have no idea.
All right. So Greg has a little story for us.
I'm not generally one to rant on Twitter.
Here's Greg's first rant.
The little things that tick me off, I'll make some, offhanded comment here and there. Maybe I won't, completely approach it. So back in August, I bought the Noise River City Girls limited edition. So it came with like a bunch of tickets and like the soundtrack to the game and like a bunch of other stuff. So that was August 30th. And so if you've ever ordered from Limited Run Games, they'll notify you when something goes into production and then when it actually ships. So it didn't ship, after I had submitted a couple inquiries like the first week of December. And, and my whole thing is I'm not trying to like talk bad on Limited Run Games because they offer something really unique, but I don't think I will ever order anything from them ever again. Just the shitty experience that I had with them. So I submitted some tickets. They responded back. I needed to update my address, which is super weird because you submit like this general Google form to get your change of address because I was moving at the time and it hadn't, months had passed and I didn't know when it was going to ship, when it was going to show up, whatever. So come December 18th, it finally ships and I'm watching my inbox. I'm going to, I had already planned a trip to California the first week of January to go surprise my mom and all this stuff. And so I'm waiting. So I submitted some tickets and then I'm not getting any responses. So then finally it ships the 18th and I'm following along with the tracking numbers. So what they do is they give it to UPS. UPS then gives it to the Mail Innovations team at the United States Postal Office. And then they then receive the package and then distribute it. So this whole time I'm like, wondering where the package is because it completely stopped on the 28th. Limited Run Games couldn't provide me an update. The Postal Service told me to reach back out to the sender, which was Limited Run Games. UPS told me to reach out to the postal service, and this big fucking circle jerk was happening. And in the meantime, I'm in the middle of it, just trying to figure out. I spent $109 on this limited edition.
Can you show it?
Like I said, and oh yeah, it's right here. Well, that's another piece to it.
Okay.
So in the meantime, I'm like all this other stuff because I actually this other.
Going back to the shop.
So I had ordered also the King of Fighters limited release on PlayStation 4. So it came and it showed up like this, with the loose game inside. And then you go to their website. Yeah, so you go to their website and they basically say it's a known issue with PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 discs and all this stuff. So that starts to surface during this time out of frustration. And in the meantime, I'm submitting tickets, I'm tweeting at them, and I was like, I'm going to write an article about my experience because this is basically the worst experience I've ever had, not only purchasing games, but customer service from a company. And so, stuff goes on, and I'm still wondering where the hell it's at. And by this time, it's now January. No package has shown up. I ordered it in August, and so it arrives. And,
5 months later.
Yeah, it arrives. So I can't even, get my hands on it until I come back to Iowa. So then I finally come back, and I had some back and forth with the co-founder of Limited Run Games. He's apologizing and trying to field comments because not only did I have a shit experience, but there was like other people that started chiming in. One guy, he was out somewhere in Spain because they ship internationally, and he had over $1,000 worth of product go missing.
What?
And I'm over here crying about $100, and these other people are starting to come forward with, their experiences, and just the whole structure of limited run games as a business. Like, I don't know, they're a lot smaller of a company than you think they are, especially when it comes to, updating your address. Or one of the things they wanted me to do was request the ticket number for the tracking code for the Mail Innovations team. And the link actually on Limited Run Games is a broken link. And so this whole clusterfuck was the most frustrating thing because I couldn't even reach a person. Like if you go to Google and you look for a business on there, they have a Google My Business page. You can look them up and generally, call an office somewhere.
Wait,
well, Limited Run Games.
Nobody, you couldn't email, you couldn't like social media, phone call, nothing worked.
So social media, until I mentioned the second time about the article, nothing had come up until I mentioned writing an article the second time, and then they started to respond. But all my other tweets about it were just disregarded. And, I'd submit a ticket and they would say, oh, don't worry, it's supposed to ship sometime in the beginning of December. And then finally, at the end of December is when it shipped. So it did end up coming in and packaged. I listened to the soundtrack and stuff, but at the same time, there's like everything inside without me shaking it was like this when it arrived. And my whole experience, I still have the Star Wars NES cartridge that they produced still hanging out there too. It hasn't shipped yet either. But just the whole experience with limited run games, I mean, it's almost to the level of fuck Konami, that fuck limited run games. But I'm more so saying my experience with them completely sucked. And I just don't, go for it if you plan on spending money with them, but I won't spend another dime with them.
But was this your first experience with them, or have you say you ordered stuff with them before?
Oh yeah, I've purchased stuff in the past, yes.
And that was fine.
Yeah.
So except it's like they've hit a growth.
So I made other purchases, but after this, I was like a little apprehensive. I was like, okay, it's a known issue, whatever. And then people are, why don't you just look on YouTube how to punch it back in? There's tons of videos talking about the PlayStation. And I'm like, fuck off.
Well, if they all sound like that, I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
Sean, don't you have experience? Do you buy from Limited Run? I know you've done a tour there when they were just getting started, but do you still buy?
Yeah, I've bought a bunch of shit from there.
Ever had that kind of experience, or not so much?
No, I never had any issues, but I've heard issues that other people have had. But yeah, me personally, I bought a ton of stuff. Honestly, probably I bought Night Trap Limited Run. I bought Turok. I buy shit and I don't even remember buying it. But yeah, I've never had any issues.
I've never bought anything from them, but they are definitely small. I mean, when Sean visited them, and they were like, it was like a small office with all the stock right next to them.
Yeah, and
they've
I think
moved
they have,
since then.
Yeah, and I made some comments like, I was trying to figure out a total employee size because some of that stuff is public information, and he was like ensuring me, oh yeah, we hired an additional person the second week of December to help out. And I'm like, you hired somebody in the busiest shopping time of the year, an extra person now. And it's like, and just happens to be when I'm having this huge meltdown on Twitter. But I don't know. They did more than just disappoint me. And people were like, well, I'm never shopping there again. And it's like, who the fuck cares whether you shop there or not? But the whole premise of them is to supply people with limited editions of games that wouldn't normally come out. I remember I bought my Retro City Rampage PS Vita version from them and no problems. But it's like if you can't ship your product internationally or have some sort of deadline, like that's your whole business model. I don't get it.
Yeah. Matt says there's a bunch of, I guess you can order from Best Buy because they stock, but I know that their stock usually goes like that if you really want, if it's a really hot item. Sorry?
Best Buy does different sort of things. You use, like if you want a collector's edition, they do standard editions at Best Buy, and it's not for every single game or anything like that either. I know Wood has actually bought every Switch game that's come out from Limited Run.
Damn. MDK asks, isn't there another company doing something similar? I've seen a few others pop up.
Yeah, there's strictly limited games.
There's one based in Europe that just showed up. I know Jules Watson has been using them.
Super rare games.
That's the one. Yeah.
And I guess there's like a whole Discord server of people filled with just bashing on them. I guess Limited Run Games to shut it down at one point on their forums, and then they started another one. Yeah. But it's like, all these people going to bat, I get it. Like, you've never had a bad experience, but my experience was complete trash.
Yeah, it looks like they've got some room, like some growing pains and some room to improve. Hopefully they can solve that.
I think just that, it's just the communication. Like, tell me it's been delayed. Tell me something. They need to fix their whatever, tickets they have where you can submit a blind ticket with, 3 boxes to fill and maybe get a response back during business hours in your email. And it's like fucking join the rest of us in 2020.
Yeah, it's just customer service. They need to improve that section. So sorry to hear you had such a rough time, man. And through the holidays, but I'm glad you finally got your game. Glad you got to replay it and your collection grows. But we're going to move on to our next topic because actually I think the chat has discussed this already before we even got around to it. But it looks like you guys really want to talk about Smash. So we finally got our 5th reveal this week. And I think, judging by the reactions on Twitter, we all pretty much felt the same. I don't know about you guys, but I woke up early to check this out. And my expectations are low. I wasn't really that hyped for Joker, Banjo, everything. I really enjoyed playing with the characters. My lowest point was probably Terry. Did not think it could get worse, but oh my god, when I saw another Fire Emblem character, at first I was just like, I can't believe they're doing this. And then I was like, hey, let's give it a chance. Maybe the moveset's going to be interesting. Well, I had really dark skin there. It doesn't even seem to play that interesting. Like, I have a tan.
This is your blackface era.
Oh, come on. It was probably summer when I was
just like Trudeau.
Yeah, I was just
don't pull me into our prime minister's mess. So yeah, how'd you guys? I saw, Sean, you were like, I could pretty much hear your disappointment from your tweet. Greg, I don't know if you were watching the direct or what you think.
Well, I was up till like 3 a.m. the night before.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at 8:30 to watch it. And like, I thought it was a joke. But I thought they were going to like bait and switch. And then they were like, no, we're not. I mean, it's okay. Like, it really boils down to the timing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a character like that, awesome. But I would have done it as a first or second character reveal. When you sort of build up to it, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, it's a marketing thing. It's Nintendo's decision." Blah blah blah. Like, okay, that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to like it though, because there's tons of Fire Emblem representation in the game. Yes, they are doing an additional fourth house for the game, so they want some more notoriety for it. But I just think there's so many. The thing of it is like Sakurai says, it's a celebration of video games, and then you're getting a character from, yes, a successful game, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't hold a candle to me to some of the other reveals, and it really just boils down to the timing of it. I really feel like it should have been, a first or second character for the DLC pack, and I think people would have been more receptive to it. If you like it, like, that's awesome, hats off to you, enjoy it, but not for me.
I don't understand why Fire Emblem just gets so much love. I understand it's a successful franchise, it's first party, but you look at a franchise like, let's say, Zelda. Why isn't a franchise like that has a rich universe of characters not getting that same kind of love? The Mario universe, I think, has more characters than Fire Emblem and Smash. Don't know the count. So why is Fire Emblem? And I feel Zelda is underrepresented in Smash. We've got like,
who would you
okay,
put in?
You got like 3 links. I don't think we need 3. Well, they're all. Who would I put?
Yeah. Exactly. You can't think of anyone.
No, you could put Tingle. You could put.
Yeah.
Like, you could look at the Hyrule Warriors roster. You have like 25 characters that you could choose from there.
I don't know. To me, I think there's enough Nintendo characters in the game. I want to see other companies. I want to see third-party characters. I want to see obscure characters. And
personally, I want to see weird. I want to see weird stuff like Piranha Plant. That's my kind of character.
But see, I think they could have done that with Cuphead instead of making him a fucking Mii skin.
They could,
but yes. I think the Mii skin actually looks as good as an actual character.
But does it play
uniquely
enough?
Why would they not just make him a character then at that point?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You could say the same about Sans, though. They made a whole costume just for him.
And we talk about video games on this channel, not gimmicks.
Look, I don't like Undertale any more than you do, but they put a lot of effort in that Sans costume, man. I'm just saying it could have been a character.
Tingle, Impa, Skull Kid. Skull Kid. I think Skull Kid is a decent
Skull Kid
choice.
would have been a really good one.
And I'm not even basically a fan of that. But, I don't know. The push for Fire Emblem is very interesting, though, because it's gone from a niche franchise to trying to make it, right alongside of Mario and Zelda and things like that. And I don't ever think it will be that just because of the type of game it is. But
yeah,
who knows?
What I think
it's found its.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think it found success on its own, and I think the reason why it feels so, like, the big question as to the why behind it is because this is Nintendo shoehorning it into popularity instead of letting it garner that audience that it already has by it just naturally being a good game, and I think it's catching people off guard because Nintendo's now supporting it when it was just kind of like, another franchise that Nintendo had. I don't know. It just feels like, why now? Why now do they want to support it?
Well, what I think is frustrating, and I don't know if other people feel like this, is if you're in the Fire Emblem, like if we had Kimmerson right here, like he'd be perfect to talk about this because that guy is in the Fire Emblem Kool-Aid, and like he loves the universe, loves the characters, and sees all the nuances between them. But when you're on the outside of the Fire Emblem fandom, like I'll say I'm on the outside, and you look in and it's really hard to say what's the difference between one character and the other. It's like, well, this one has blue hair, this one has like red hair. They all look the same in the sense that, it boils down to their, it's a character with a sword. It's it's an anime character with a sword. It's an anime character with a bow. It's not as you look at a Mario and a Bowser and a Wario, in that universe, the characters are so extremely different and offer such an extremely different moveset. In the Fire Emblem universe, there's not that much wiggle room. Like, okay, I think maybe if you play Smash a lot, you can appreciate the nuances in the moveset. If you're part of the fandom of Fire Emblem, you can appreciate the difference in characters. And I get that you would want to, because every entry is self-containing, you would want to play with those characters. But in the Smash universe, as an outsider, to me, it's just like, oh, this is so unappetizing. Like, put a Ninja Turtle in there. As I look at
well, you have to go through Nickelodeon.
Do it.
Injustice 2 added Ninja Turtles.
It'd have to be a proper Ninja Turtle, though.
They were pretty good. I like the character models. I like the movesets. They were pretty good. But you didn't pick, if I can remember, you didn't pick one single turtle. You picked the turtles, and
they could rotate.
Yeah, but it was like, this person would come in and do a special and whatever. But it was still cool. The animations were very well done.
Someone pointed out when they first announced the first volume of the character packs, they said every character would be from a franchise not currently represented in Smash Brothers. I don't
think that quote is true.
I don't know if that quote is true or not. I never looked it up, but
I think it was just something that garnished steam. But okay. I don't think it was a true quote.
But going back to your point, Sean, I think that if it was the first or second character reveal, it would have been very different. Fire Emblem Three Houses did get a lot of attention. It definitely deserves recognition all within 5 minutes. And I think if it would have been the first character of Volume 2, it would have been far more well received than if it was the last character of Volume 1. It's like this, man.
Yes.
That said, do you guys care about Volume 2 at this point?
I mean, I'll keep an eye out on it and talk about it, but
like, I would label all of us here as Smash casuals. Have you guys actually gone back every time that there's a new character drop to, outside of just playing it to be like, oh, that's who it is, like to play it for a good week? Like, have these DLC characters pulled you back in for a good length of time into Smash?
No.
Same. So,
but see, and that's essentially what they're doing, though. It's not enticing for me to go back in and play because no character is worth it to draw me back in. And they're, instead of, bringing players back in, they're pushing players like me away because they're like, why do I care about Fire Emblem? I don't even play the series. Now I don't.
But you're a retro fan, Greg. So like, they put Banjo-Kazooie. I'd feel like that's right up your alley.
Yes and no. I feel like the characters, has more substance to it than any Fire Emblem character. Especially, like, I was thinking about this earlier. If you would have held off on Cuphead as a Mii skin, Banjo-Kazooie, and maybe one other character that they may or may not introduce, if you would have released those now instead of previously and just lined the character packs with Fire Emblem characters, people probably would have been more excited for the Cupheads, the Sans, and Banjo-Kazooie now than when they released early on.
Yeah, the skins were actually quite cool in this week's presentation. Outside of Cuphead, that was the big one. What other? We got some new Mega Man ones that those ones caught my eye.
The .exe, and then
there was a few other costumes that I was like, oh, that's cool.
Assassin's Creed.
Yes, that was the one. Thank you. I don't like that it's not Ezio, though. I don't know why they went with Altair, because Ezio is the most loved assassin. So, and Assassin's Creed 1 was not on any Nintendo stuff, right?
Yes, it was on the DS.
Oh.
It was a side-scrolling game.
Oh, yeah, the rabbits. They put the rabbits in there, too. Which, those belong as costumes. I'm happy that was not a full character. But although, as a full-fledged character, a rabbit would be that kind of quirky, unknown stuff that you don't anticipate. Now, going back to that, the fact that they put rabbits, Assassin's Creed, but we don't have a Rayman. There's no Rayman costume in the game, right?
No.
So I think Rayman might be a character in Volume 2, as Meters is putting up.
It would have been a better character than Byleth.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let us know what you guys think in the chat. If you are excited for Byleth, if you are still even following the Smash DLC characters, as in Is it pulling you back into the game? Are you guys playing it? Or is it just, it's cool to see the direct, it's cool to see the community being hyped up, but you guys have moved on to other games. Speaking of other games, delays. So at the end of last year, we had a bunch of delays. We had Doom being delayed, Animal Crossing being delayed, Ubisoft delaying everything, Last of Us Part 2 being delayed. Now we've got Final Fantasy being delayed, Avengers being delayed, and Cyberpunk being delayed. What the hell's going on?
Iron Man got delayed.
Oh, did it? I wasn't paying attention to that.
Iron Man VR.
Are you holding on to that one, Sean? You're like
Final Fantasy 7.
Actually, I'm doing the Iron Man thing there in behind you.
Kind of.
Practicing.
Holes are blessed.
What do you guys have you guys ever seen this trend of delays before? Like do you think this is just business as usual, or is it obviously something is up that like more games are being delayed more so than usual?
No, it's definitely more so than usual.
Do you guys think this is because of, the just strange bigger games, more development? Or a lot of people are saying it's the new generation of consoles and a lot of people are delaying to optimize their games to the next generation, to prepare themselves for marketing, to do kind of dual launches. No. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
No.
Or no?
I don't know. Some people think it's has to do with shareholders, something I've heard a lot. And shareholders are the ones that are, demanding release dates for games or updates for games. And that's why companies arbitrarily will throw out something, even though it might not be able to be done. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but it's definitely a growing trend and something that doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. And it's definitely not, how things used to be. It's definitely a newer thing.
Like, remind me, when we were going from the PS3, Xbox 360 to the next gen, it was like we weren't seeing this many delays.
No.
We saw a lot of bug games, though, at the launch of PS4 and Xbox One. Everything was bugged. So,
well, yeah, what difference is that? I mean, you still got buggy games coming out in the middle and the end of the system, too. I don't know that that's necessarily indicative of that, but...
What I find interesting, I didn't look at this until now. Square Enix last year made a really big deal to their shareholders that Q4 would have a huge surge of revenue, which is, I don't know if it works out, but yeah, it was because of Final Fantasy VII, I think, is how it lines up, and potentially Avengers. And when they're announcing that, now those games are getting shifted into another quarter, the stock wasn't affected at all. Like shareholders didn't react to the news of the delays. The Final Fantasy VII one is the weirdest one for me because that's a 1 month delay. And to announce that at this point, 3 months, like how much of the game are you actually still actively developing 3 months before launch? I don't think any of us here knows, but to me that's strange. Like I'd assume that the game
happens. I think it's more so because it's episodic. So I'm sure there's something that they have to iron out in order for all the pieces of the episodes to cohesively work together. And it could have been a game-breaking bug that stopped somebody from playing episode 1 going into the next episode. So I could see that happening, but I started to think about this too because you have games like Cyberpunk, for example. Mm-hmm. It's going to release on Xbox One. It's going to release on whatever the Xbox Series X is. Mm-hmm. It's going to release on PlayStation 4. It's going to release on PlayStation 5. Then in the middle of that, you still have PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X. Then you also have it releasing on Google Stadia. Then you also have it releasing on PC. That just, to me, seems like every opportunity to have bugs in these games across all the different platforms. And I think, before, without the strong surge of PC gaming, it was just, Xbox 360 going into the Xbox One era, PlayStation 3 going into the PlayStation 4 era. Mm-hmm. There weren't these iterative consoles, these life cycles that we see now. So I think it just created a bigger rift going into this next gen with all these other consoles that can still play these games, whereas there wasn't a hard stop like there was before to move on.
So that kind of goes against what Sean's saying, where Sean's saying the next console has nothing to do with it. But to your point, Final Fantasy VII, we know, is going to the Xbox ecosystem a year later. What are you getting angry for over there? I'm just speculating.
Your fucking word.
What?
Ecosystem.
Oh, you don't like the word ecosystem? What? That's the problem you have here?
Yes.
You used to talk about the Wii U ecosystem, the Nintendo ecosystem with the Wii U and the 3DS and the Switch.
And they're not true, and they never will be true.
Okay, the Xbox platform then instead of ecosystem. Is that better, sir?
Brand.
You know, for funsies, if you remember our last rant on the last Class vs. Crass with the whole the Xbox pay schedule and all that, I thought I would bring it up at Re-Res Studio for a casual chat with Shane. I'm like, oh yeah, we got pretty heated argument between like payment things. Sean thought this, I thought this. No, I'm not even kidding you. Shane and I went at it for like 30 minutes. And Adam, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Re-Res. Adam's just like, why did you guys do a hot take on this? Like we were just, he was a little bit more lenient than you, but I think I'm the only one that thinks the way I do about that. But we're not going to get into that today. It's weird. Going back to these game delays, it's weird. I don't know what it is. I think it could potentially be where they're seeing new opportunities. Like, who knows what the next gen of consoles is bringing, but if they're saying, hey, here's a feature, code it in now, I don't know. I don't think that would, I really don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
And I mentioned this before too, and I feel like it gives developers, you know, an easy, not an easy way out, but a way to, you know, discuss a game having a delay and then just attribute it to crunch, because then no one can really get mad at them.
Yeah. The whole crunch conversation, that could potentially be it. I mean, before we saw a lot of pressures at studios, and there's been this huge public pushback on crunch. And this could be, these delays could be a consequence of that, of publishers and developers not wanting to be.
But didn't you read the story that because Cyberpunk got delayed, there's going to be more crunch now?
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, they admitted it. But I think, and maybe we're hearing more of it too, because there's more transparency in this current generation because of things like crunch coming to surface, or working in an office like Gearbox that has, you know, you're a CEO that's, you know, berating people with comments. You know, it's all over the place. There's, I think, multiple reasons for it, and I think transparency does allow us to see a little bit more, you know, what's behind the curtain.
Yeah.
In terms of the games industry now. And plus, I think, you know, we're more sensitive to these topics. Like we hear about them and listen to them and have our ear to the ground. And I don't think, you know, casual me 10, 15 years ago probably wouldn't have cared so much.
No, and there's still a lot of people that you see that are just, I've seen the stupidest outrage on social of people like, I'm not buying your game because you delayed it. And like, just people are just like, you promised a date. That's very unprofessional. It's like, get out of here. Like, you don't understand. Like, it's people who are not able to be flexible in their understanding of like, hey, games are complex. There's a lot of unknowns. Cut them some slack. Cut him some slack, Greg.
Fuck that.
I was going to mention that.
No, I did invite the co-owner. So, but he said he
Josh or Doug?
Josh. He said he can only talk during business hours during the week. So, I mean,
that's when they're replying to emails to their customers.
Yes.
Well, maybe one day we'll get them. Question from, I forget who asked, how many episodes of Final Fantasy 7 do you think will be? So you guys are guessing about 4. I think they're going to keep making as many episodes as they need. As long as it sells, they're going to find reasons to continue the Final Fantasy 7 episodic release. That's why you're not seeing episode 1 on Final Fantasy 7. They don't want to raise awareness of, well, how many episodes is it going to be? I think they're just going to keep doing it. Like they're going to go through the original Final Fantasy story, and they're just going to give you like a game of a chunk. But once they get to the end, they're not just going to, you know, close off that that cash cow, they're going to start giving you whole games related to Vincent, or what if Cloud went this way or did something else like that. It'd be silly for them to just be like, well, we told the whole story, let's stop making these games if it sells like crazy. That's my take.
It'll be 7 episodes.
I say 4.
I mean, 4 to tell the original story, but I think it's going to go above that. What is this? Yeah, wasn't Shenmue supposed to have like 8 episodes or something?
Shenmue was supposed to have a lot. Shenmue 3 story doesn't even conclude the thing, but so you're never going to get the final Shenmue story.
No, it's a shame.
Never reached the Final Fantasy.
You'll never exact revenge on whatever you're trying to do in that game.
I think it'll wear thin. You got to remember, the thing with Final Fantasy VII is people are excited for it because of nostalgia. If you wait too long to do episodes and you try to drag it out too far, eventually people aren't going to give a fuck.
Yeah, right now people are excited to see Midgar, seeing all these new characters re-rendered, but all that hype for that, it's not good. Actually, the best example, you look at Star Wars. Oh my God, the new Star Wars trilogy, when Episode 7 came out, nostalgia, hype, and then Episode 8, and then Episode 9. If you look at the sales, it just goes down. By the way, for the record, I hate Episode 9. I don't want to talk about it, though.
Same.
Good.
I didn't watch it.
You don't watch movies that are post-2000. Have you ever watched a Marvel movie?
I watched some of the Iron Man where he was in the cave.
The first Marvel movie. When did that come out?
I don't care.
2008. May 2nd, 2008.
Like, I don't care. It does nothing for me. It's all a bunch of CGI bullshit where you know the superhero is going to win in the end.
Tell that to Brett, sir.
I mean, if you like it, that's cool. It just does absolutely nothing for me.
Doesn't tickle your pickle, eh?
No.
Okay. Last topic for tonight, talking about E3 2020. We're starting to get some news. Specifically, PlayStation is continuing to bow out of E3 despite having the next-gen console on the horizon. They're saying no thank you. And this is coming off of E3 pretty much releasing all of the personal information of every pretty much media and influencer that was at the show last year. Do you guys think this is going to be... I know we all say this every year whenever someone pulls out, but like... Is this... We've all seen E3 kind of like lose its relevance.
It's going to change.
Do you think this is the flashpoint year where this is the year? Because the show floor was pretty sad last year.
No, it's just going to have to change. It's going to have to change into something like you see with other things. Because one thing that a lot of people say is, you know, the attendance, and compare the attendance to events that happen in other countries and stuff like that. But the thing is, most of your attendance, you know, there's a very limited number of randoms that get in as opposed to industry people. Mm-hmm. So that's why your attendance numbers don't look like the other conferences, but you're going to have to shift it to a more open thing. You're going to have to shift it to more of an experience rather than, you're pretty much going to have to go back to its roots, to a trade show.
Well, its roots were a media. It was specifically for developers to get in touch with the media to get the word out on what they were working on, which they no longer need in 2020 with technology.
I wouldn't want to go to E3 as a consumer now. You know, maybe in the heyday when I first started to go, but I mean, all my appointments last year were off the show floor, and you know, you'd go down and see 60 people in a line waiting to play, you know, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and it was like, why would I do that to myself? I would waste almost my entire day just to stand in line. There's not swag like there was before. You can buy stuff, but it's just, I mean,
it really went all downhill, you know, when they got rid of booth babes and stuff. Get woke, go broke. I mean, proof's in the pudding.
I remember a year I went with Gray. I think it was the year VR was like starting to really bubble, and there was wasn't there a porn section, a VR porn section?
I watched the guy come down off the little platform he was on with a boner.
What?
Like, what is this? I would, number one, I feel uncomfortable already because like
You
I don't
were
know,
li-
it just-
did you try it?
No, I didn't. That was like but it was so weird because it just felt like out of place at a show like that.
Yeah, Sean, they still have booth babes, I think, as Brett here is saying. They're just
Okay, okay, because let's look at 2012.
they're dressed differently.
Yeah. Oh, I had pictures with girls that were like wearing damn near nothing, but yeah, it's
Here's some girls
significantly
promoting
changed.
Tekken, World of Tanks, Persona 4, Gold.
So they got some short shorts and some tank tops.
Some look at this. These.
Okay, sir. Continue. And what's it like now?
Everyone's like in nun now outfits and shit.
Oh, come on. That's because they're promoting some horror game.
Can't dress like that for Life is Strange Part 3.
Oh my god.
All right.
Gone Home 2.
All right, we're gonna get ready for the lightning round here. And,
I'm just
get your
talking
topics
shit.
and questions ready. Anything, any thoughts you might have on the topics for tonight? Whether you cared about Smash, whether you still care about Smash DLC, what your picks are for the next volume of characters. What do you guys think of E3 as consumers, as viewers, as fans? Is E3 still fun?
Oh.
Did PlayStation didn't even do a state of play last year, did they?
Nope. Well, they did one kind of like before it, I believe. Didn't they?
They did one in May, and that's when they announced Final Fantasy. But I think that was it.
Yeah, it's kind of before.
Oh, and then there was a Death Stranding one like a week before. What was the other thing? Oh, game delays. Also, let us know your thoughts, questions, any topics, or if there's anything we didn't talk about tonight that you guys are like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Let us know in the comments so that we can talk about it in the lightning round. You know what? Let's use this graphic. We don't use it enough. Lightning round.
Is it good, babe?
Right.
No, it was not Booth Babe, sir.
I found a cool picture of Coolio with Booth Babes.
Yeah. Wait, what year
Girl.
is this? World of Tank?
This was 2012.
Okay, wow, they've been around for a while. World of Tank is like always there.
Let's see. Look at the Discord. It was 2011.
Discord is constantly broadcasting on this show. I can't just watch something that you
Oh,
sent.
it's a image of Booth Babes.
Oh, okay.
Here's Coolio with some Booth Babes.
What year is that?
I mean,
That looks like 90s E3.
it's Coolio, so yeah, the golden era.
Yeah, I watched it, over the years kind of teeter off because
Dieter?
I mean, it was because before, it was catering to industry professionals, and you had Booth Babes, and then once it kind of changed to more of a consumer approach, they were less and less present at booths, and
Because they're evil. Women, evil, scantily clad, evil.
Question from Tony.
It's
Do you-
demoralizing for someone to make money.
Do you think the Fire Emblem Byleth hatred will ever die down?
Yes,
will
eventually it will. They'll get pissed off about something else.
Until
it's the
the
internet. A month later,
When do you guys think we'll see the next character reveal? March?
2 months.
No, it's gonna be a while. I wouldn't expect it till summerish,
That
early
long,
summer.
Eh?
Yeah,
Nah, I think we're gonna see it in April. March.
I say May or June.
Place your bets. How about you, Greg?
I say 2 months,
2 months.
or at least a tease.
2 months. So yeah, you're lying. You're saying March. See, Brett says he was at E3. Says it was noticeably more empty last year. And remember, it's not just the vendors anymore, but also media. Media is pretty pissed that all of their personal information got leaked, and I think a lot of them are going to be boycotting E3
But see,
because of that.
like I completely forgot about that.
What, the whole information leak?
Yeah, it was.
Your address is probably out there, man. How do you feel about that? Well, your old
mean-
address, you moved. You're okay.
Yeah, send me some limited run games order. Or something like that.
But like, for you as someone who, goes to this show for like 10 years, are you even looking at applying? And if you are applying, how do you feel about that risk being there, that your address, phone number, and all that stuff's going to leak? Especially now that you are sharing your opinions on the Class vs. Crass Gaming podcast.
I always say this, like, I take E3. I'm very privileged to go. I've been going this long, and I take it as a trip to Mecca and go to the homeland and enjoy my time there. It's a lot of work, and a lot of people don't understand that. But as I've watched it kind of evolve and devolve over the course of the years, I'm as excited as I was in previous years to go this year, because not so much out of like, I go every year, I have to go, but I don't know, it's somewhat is that, but I'm also still excited because I can take care of what I need to take care of outside of the show floor. My appointment for pretty much everything except Nintendo and even Nintendo was in a separate area outside of the main playing area, but it was meeting rooms behind closed doors, sitting down to watch a Cyberpunk playthrough, get a sweet jacket, or
you got a sweet jacket?
Oh yeah, it's somewhere.
Oh.
It was one of those reversible. It was like,
it's so good, it's in a box.
No, it's actually on a hanger somewhere. But yeah.
But okay, so the fact that your information might leak doesn't worry you then.
I wasn't one of the people, so I'm not too concerned. But
okay.
Other people might be.
Yeah.
I still think they need to be held accountable because what came of it?
For sure. Next question from Jonathan. Will Microsoft's next gen plans hurt them in the long run for this upcoming generation?
I think there's a good possibility, but really, it's a time will tell thing.
But do you think that they're heading for success with what we currently know about them? Didn't they say no exclusives in year one?
In the first year to 2 years, everything that releases will also be able to be played on the Xbox One ecosystem.
I hate it when you say that word. Stop it.
Which I think is, some people say, it's the PC method, so it works for PCs, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's that cut and dry. There's a reason why PC gaming exists and why just more booth babes. G4 booth babes as well. See, they got the G4 belt.
I always wondered.
I didn't see the G4 for a while.
I always wondered,
the G4s here.
Where are they now?
The girls?
Lawyers? Doctors?
They could be.
Nah, probably
martial
strippers.
artists.
Oh, man.
What were we saying?
Xbox exclusives.
It's a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope because no company has ever come out and said this before. And essentially, Microsoft isn't giving many people a reason to buy the Xbox Series X at launch if it's not launching with anything that can only be played on it. And people will say, well, people who want to play the best will buy it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and they could also buy an Xbox One X, which didn't light the world on fire. Yep. There's a reason why people buy specific systems. It's for exclusive games. And if you could just simply get an Xbox One, or you have an Xbox One, you can play the exact same games that you can play on the Series X, and nothing is going to really fully utilize the Series X because it's being throttled by last generation hardware that at the time of the release of the system will be 8 years old, 8.5 years old. The system came out in 2013, but that technology obviously wasn't 2013 technology. It was developed probably in 2012, 2011. So you're being throttled by a system that's, 8-9 years old really at the end of the day. So I don't know. It could work out, but I don't think Microsoft gives a shit about making consoles. And I really don't even think they should have made a console.
It's risky. They're doing the exact opposite of the Wii U in the sense that the Wii U actually had good exclusives and a lot of other issues, and it didn't sell well. Now Xbox is banking on just having everything else going well and having no exclusives. And the name of the game, as a lot of people have said over the last 30 years, is software pushes hardware. So I don't know how, any consumer, you look at PlayStation and Xbox, it's like, hey, you can play all the games you want on PlayStation plus these exclusives, and Xbox is like, you can play them in 8K on that 8K TV you probably don't have. It's really hard. It's a really hard sell when you have those two competitors right next to each other. with one being such a clear advantage for a gamer. Like it's like, oh, I get more game
And
options here.
someone just said they have 40 million potential buyers when the new Halo comes out. No, they don't, because
No, Halo-
everyone's getting it on Game Pass,
That too.
which somehow, you could sit there and say that Game Pass is good for them, but I don't see how at the very highest it's what, $10 a month, something like that. That's literally the price of 2 full games a year. You're spending $120.
Yeah.
I think the average person buys more than 2 games a year for their system. So
Actually, I think it's 5 games per generation. The average gamer. That's the actual stat.
That's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. Tie-in rates are so high right now with software and consoles. I am definitely calling bullshit on that.
I'll get you some data for the next episode.
Yeah.
I'm
Please
pretty
do.
sure I saw it somewhere that they say the average consumer buys 5 games.
But
over
when
the
is
generation.
I need to know when that data is from. I don't want no.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing this a
2015
couple
bullshit.
years ago, so I don't know. And does it, is it only physical? Is it digital? There's so many unknowns. But
Yeah, and how do they account for like Humble Bundle?
exactly.
Like,
Well, I think I don't know.
I don't
You
know.
don't know.
I will say, like, I don't have a dog in that fight. I only, play on Xbox and PC sometimes for the convenience where you can get something on Game Pass and has a play anywhere option. That's like super beneficial to me. But I mean, I play my Switch way more than I play my PS4. It's just literally sitting collecting dust. And I play my Xbox because at a convenience, when I'm watching Netflix or whatever. And I still play my PC often.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got a bunch of questions coming up here. Hey Jay, what will be the first party games released this year from Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft? Microsoft, you're getting nothing. Nintendo, you're getting Animal Crossing. Who knows? Pikmin 4. And then PlayStation, you're getting Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. You guys have any? Did I miss any?
What, you're talking about first party stuff?
First party.
No, I mean, well,
Super
Halo
Mario 3D
Infinite-
World.
Halo Infinite's supposed to come this year.
Oh, and a Paper Mario, probably. Next question. Will Microsoft bring the Xbox Game Pass or xCloud to Nintendo's next generation hybrid platform this year or the next? There's a lot of assumptions in that question.
If they did, it would be some weird one-off, like Game Pass Plus, and they offer, 1 or 2 games from Microsoft, and it's some weird combination of the subscription, the Nintendo Online subscription for $24.99 for the year, and you get, whatever.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, if they do something, I don't think it'll be in any way that we anticipate or imagine.
Yeah.
It would be.
But
very
who knows? Maybe this. I was thinking about this actually when someone mentioned Resident Evil 7 releasing and streaming limited capacity. Maybe that's who shepherds it into the U.S. market is Microsoft flexing its xCloud in order for to bring those streaming services over.
Maybe it's
That's
going to be
a total
Stadia.
possibility.
Remember that?
Nah. I mean, God, fuck.
Hey Jay, did you pick what you are going to play after Castlevania? It's probably going to be the Metal Gear franchise, and I'm really like deep in Castlevania, so I'm probably not out of that for another 6 months. Yeah, Brett spamming his videos of E3 if you want to see him and Greg act like BFFs.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Did you see that Stadia announcement?
The which one?
The Stadia announcement, press release,
What are they announcing?
that they have stuff in the works and like.
Well, that's not an announcement. That's a
But
desperate plea for help.
So they released this press release that has like 5 or 6 things on it, just like, hey, we're still here kind of thing.
Oh my god.
And it's like, how desperate do you sound? Like,
Yeah. Next question is Sony or Unties, a Sony Music Japan company, going to publish MLB The Show 21 for PS4, PS5, Xbox One Series X, and Nintendo Switch?
The whole MLB thing I think is a bit misconstrued. Yes, it was technically a first party game, but at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily Sony's IP. It was more Major League Baseball's IP, and Major League Baseball was the company that decided to put the game on more platforms to generate more revenue, more so than Sony. So That's the thing I've been seeing a lot of people say, oh, well, a lot of Sony games all of a sudden are coming to other systems. It's like, it's not the same as what Microsoft is doing. Like the whole Horizon thing, Horizon potentially coming to PC. Wow, Brett. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Gears Tactics. Yeah, that's an awesome game. Minecraft Dungeons isn't an exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
Bleeding Edge, we're done here. We're
See,
done.
I would totally play something like, I mean, if you even Horizon on PC is
Oh shit! I forgot Ori 2. That's a big
much more of an
Microsoft
option,
exclusive.
though.
Sorry, Greg. Got excited.
no. I was just saying I would much rather play Horizon on PC than PS4 simply because I hate the controller.
You don't like the PlayStation controller?
Psychonauts 2, really? No.
Is
Niche game.
Psychonauts? I'm someone who's never played Psychonauts, but is Psychonauts 2 really that exciting for people?
Nobody gives a shit.
It's like a mid-2000s platformer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Tim Schafer is a fucking schmuck. Yeah, that's the thing about Horizon. You can buy Horizon for $20 or less literally everywhere. It's a game that by the time it comes out on PC, if it comes out on PC, it will be 3-4 years old. Like, okay, it's not, it's not like putting your fucking game available on Game Pass on PC day one for $1 for 3 months. Like, it's completely different, but
I'd buy it.
Game Pass games. Exactly. Game Pass doesn't make money. At the end of the day, come to make money. Eventually, there's going to have to be some sort of incentive for these companies to do something.
Game Pass probably makes them more money than selling their exclusive games. So that's my say there. PlayStation controller sucks when comparing it to the Nintendo. Okay, you cannot compare anything to any of Nintendo's Pro controllers. Like from the Wii U days, the Pro controllers, Nintendo has had it solid just with the amount of features and the damn battery life on those things. You could forget your charger for a year and the controller is still fine.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the DualShock 4, honestly.
Meanwhile, the PlayStation, you sneeze at it, it's like it's out of battery.
Yeah, I think it's the weakest out of the three.
Yeah.
Best one, Power A, $20 controller, wired from Best Buy or Walmart.
Those aren't bad.
What's the
I
weight
fucking
on
love
that?
them. I even like the. It's about the same.
Oh,
as
I don't like that sound. Just you shook it and it.
Oh, I don't even know what that was. But I used to have the mini. They had a mini one of this that I used for Rocket League, but
Elite Pro controller.
I love it. It's. If I ever bought something else, it would be like the Razer Sabertooth or something.
Final question. Will Nintendo be announcing their next-gen Switch after E3 this year?
I don't think so.
I think we could see it. I have no idea. We don't know what Nintendo's doing this year. They haven't really announced their 2020 plans, have they?
They haven't announced dick for this year.
I think they'll plug something on the horizon.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Nintendo reveal a bit of their cards in the coming 4 weeks. It does. The Wii U Pro Controller does last 80 hours. I think that's how they actually sell it. It's kind of crazy. And then meanwhile, Microsoft is still here with AA batteries. Like, what are you doing?
I don't hate it.
You don't hate AA batteries?
No, they're cheap as fuck.
I got rid of them and put one of the packs in that I can just charge with a USB cable.
Costco and Amazon.
I feel like batteries probably ruin the environment too, so I'm all for that.
You're disgusting.
Actually, the Nyko Pro Commander is probably better than the Pro Controller.
For Nintendo?
It was for the Wii U.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that.
That was a good controller. I had one of those.
Anyways, we're going to be wrapping it up here for tonight. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Greg, what's on the horizon in Bearded Bargus land?
Just not much, really. I write a lot of news on PC Invasion. If you're at all interested in PC talk, join us on PCinvasion.com.
Sean, you making E3's best booth babes of the last 20 years video this week?
It's not a bad idea. I really have no idea what I'm doing this week aside from what day is the 23rd. So Thursday we'll have the upcoming Switch games for the month of February. Because I like to get that out.
Oh, you have a schedule.
It just I know it's literally based on the fact that it seems like whenever I upload it between the 23rd and the 24th, it gets more views than if I do it on like the 27th or the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So either Thursday or Friday of this week, we'll have that video. I really have no idea what else I'm going to do. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. It's January, so.
You don't care. Over on this channel, there's a Castlevania Diaries in the works. So it's going to be my thoughts on, I think, the Harmony of Dissonance on the Game Boy Advance Castlevania game. Then tomorrow we're going to be playing some Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Is that what it's called? It's good. Yep. It's good. I've already started
the Game Boy one.
Game Boy Advance one. Yes, yeah. I started it last week. Fantastic game. Can't wait to get back into it. And then I've started Hollow Knight streams to replace Indie Corner. So that's going to be either Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to be at I have to start off by fighting a hard boss. And over on Hey Jay Eats, I've got a Chinese Oreo episode in the works, which didn't come out today. But yeah, it's going to be fun. There's some interesting flavors that I found in China, including tiramisu Oreos. So we'll see you all either on streams or on respective site or next week with another Class vs. Class Gaming podcast. We'll see you then. Until then, keep it classy, or as Sean would say.
Keep it classy.
Or as Greg would argue. Whoops.
A little bit of both.
Cut you up before you said it.